All right, we got a Joe Gilbert press conference. This is the offensive line coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is his fourth year as the offensive line coach. We'll see what he's got to say. Yeah, he's got pretty much a new offensive line, a lot of different working parts here. Now, I've taken this press conference and I boosted the audio for the questions from the reporters because you can never hear them. So I did what I could with that. And I'm still working on that process. It'll get better as we do more of these press conferences. So I also did the words. I put them on the screen. So we'll see what we can do with that. See if that works out good for us. And let's see what.
Morning, everybody.
Gilbert's got to say.
Good. How y'all doing? Good.
Joe, we just talked to Cody. Your offensive line has a lot of young, movable parts, but it also seems like things are kind of crystallizing in terms of maybe the look you want to have and the five you like to be able to roll with as things come together.
Yeah, not having Ryan here right now, obviously he'll be an integral part, in the middle, but I think we're figuring out the edges, and I'm sure, I know Dave kind of alluded to it a little bit that we've got Luke out at tackle right now, kind of like we ended up in Atlanta with him out there, and so far he's looked really good, looks comfortable, and then we've moved Tristan over to left, and, he's had unbelievable attitude with it, and, every day looks better and better and more comfortable. Obviously, that's going to be a process. But I think so far it's coming along very well, And again, it's muscle memory. It's all those little things that he's had, 1,000,005 reps over at the right side and now trying to, do the same over on the left. So it's a little bit of a process out there, but he has got the right attitude in that. And, you put him and Matt Filer over at left guard, when you line those guys up and Jensen, it looks pretty good. It looks the way it's supposed to look, that's for sure. And so it's good.
Now, that's interesting. Of course, we're getting more confirmation that we've got Tristan Wirfs on left tackle, Luke Goedeke on right tackle. We've got Filer at left guard, and we are running Cody Mauch at right guard. And then, of course, Ryan Jensen in the center. But Ryan Jensen is not there at practice yet. Now, this press conference was about a week ago. So I'm not sure if he's showed up yet. It's still rookie camp, I believe. It's still voluntary. You know what I'm saying? Interesting thing. That sounded to me like Greg Allman getting the first question. He's gotten the first question in just about all these press conferences, which is normally goes to the Tampa Bay Times, Rick Stroud. He's like the big dog, I guess. But I haven't even heard Rick Stroud. I don't know if he's given any questions, if he's even there. So find that interesting.
Number one, Matt's been in the system before coming from San Diego. There's some carryover there. He's strong. He's athletic. He's a man of few words, but he goes out in his work ethic. And that's the one thing just really impressed with the entire group right now. This is voluntary, and these guys come to work and really working on their craft. It is every day. It has been, that part's been really great. Sometimes guys get out there and kind of go through the motions, and that has not been the case at all.
Once again, this year you guys invested a high draft pick in the offensive line, and this year you got Cody. Just your thoughts when you first popped in the tape on him. What did you like about him?
It's funny when you watch guys coming from smaller schools, sometimes it's hard to evaluate because you're trying to evaluate, okay, hey, can he play against the bigger guys, this, that, more of the things they see that as you're evaluating him. You can see his athleticism, obviously his size, his numbers are his numbers. But what really gave me a pretty good picture of the kid is the Senior Bowl. And when he went there and played every 5 positions. He tackle, he was at guard, he was at center. He picked up the ball and played center, and no one told him to do it. And when you went, he did a pretty good job at it, So it was one of those things where you're like, okay, this guy can get it, And he moved up our board pretty quick, after. And for me, it was a Senior Bowl. And I have no doubt that he'll come in here, compete. And in my opinion, that's what it's all about. I know some of you mentioned, Greg, that, young parts and all that. And, he's going to come in and he's going to have an opportunity to be one of those parts, and at the end of the day, we just want to get the best 5 on the field.
That's interesting in the sense that you're getting kind of an Ali Marpet feel with this Cody Mauch, the small school, athletic, all that good stuff. But what I really liked about this was why they picked him up, why they felt like Cody Mauch fit. Not only is he aggressive and athletic and all that, but he can play all the spots. And that's what he did at the Senior Bowl. He played center, he played guard, he played tackle. We're very big on that with our offensive linemen. If you notice, all of our offensive linemen, other than Tristan Wirfs, who's now, he's played right tackle since he's been with the Buccaneers. Now he's going left tackle. He's not a guard or a center, but everybody else can play every position. Luke Goedeke has played left guard, tackle, right tackle. Josh Wells, when he was here, he moved around all over the place. We've got these guys who are very diverse, they can do just about everything. And that's the reason why they liked him, because he could do everything. Played center, guard, tackle, might even be able to play quarterback. And he was a tight end in high school. So, they like these guys that can do a lot of stuff.
Ryan Jensen brings a lot of intensity to this offensive line. Do you see Cody kind of bringing a little more attitude as well?
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, you got Matt, who's got attitude, Ryan, and him in there. They're gonna get after some people now. That's going to be a fun thing to watch. That's for sure. Yes. So there ain't no doubt about that.
I was going to say, how much is Cody's temperament? I mean, you mentioned willingness to try new things, which if a guy's played offensive tackle, it's not easy moving inside and especially snapping the ball. But temperament and attitude, how much did that also help him, I guess, move up your draft?
Well, you saw that when he was playing in college. You could see his temperament, the way he played, the way he finishes, all that kind of stuff. That showed on his tape. And then the part of being able to go inside, he proved that at the Senior Bowl. You're not playing against those guys who were first-round draft picks and did what he did in practice and then during the game if you can't do it. And he did it at a pretty good high level.
Was there any particular?
And this is one of the biggest beefs I have with college football in the sense that you have guys who are really good going against guys who are not really good. These AAA schools going against these D schools. And it's very hard to gauge whether a guy is really good or his opponent just sucks. And for me, I'm a big film guy. I like to watch all 22. You can't get it with college. So, I mean, it is almost impossible to get college all 22, especially for a whole season. I mean, you can get clips here and there. You can get maybe a game or two, but to get a full season from a guy is very hard to do. And what the coach here is saying is that one of the things they really liked is that when he stepped up to play up against the top line college players, that he dominated, that he played very well, and at all 5 positions. So that's something they really liked about him.
No, it was just his overall work, the whole thing from one-on-ones to group periods to the game kind of take that a little bit, but when you're watching them on day in and day out and these guys are competing, they're trying to get evaluated there and he went against some pretty good people there, so I feel really good about it.
You look at this year, you guys are moving on, new system, new year, all that stuff. At the same time, there's a lot of guys from your offensive line that are still here from last year. And they were part of the worst rushing attack. How much of hunger, of a chip on their shoulder do you see about that, especially when they hear from the new offensive coordinator, we're going to commit to running the ball this year? What's your take on where they are mentally in terms of grasping that?
I think I was just sitting with Dave in there, and I think that they anytime that you have change, it's hard, it's positive, it's negative, it's tough. But at the end of the day, I think the guys have really bought in to the fact that saying they know that running the ball can help them. So I think they're excited about that. I think the guys just know in general that it's a new year, it's a new start. We don't have Tom anymore. So I think from that standpoint, they're fired up, I know this for a fact that the guys have gone out to dinner for a few times with Trask and Baker, and I think that's awesome, that those guys are hanging out together and doing stuff around the city and building that camaraderie, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, So I think the whole group, the whole offense in general is in a great spot right now, for whatever reason. But I think we're in a great spot. You can see the guys that are, like I said, they're coming to work every day. This is voluntary, and you could say you don't have to one time, I don't know how many times out there when a guy has a bad rep so far in these 2 weeks we've been out during phase 2, they turn around and say, hey, Joe, can I get another rep? That didn't feel right, or I felt I was too high or something. I'm like, absolutely, So if that's happening, we got something going right.
Now, a lot of things here. One, I really like that the guys are going out and eating together. That's a big thing. You want your offensive unit to be, your offensive line to be a mesh. You want these guys to really know each other and understand each other. I think it was one of the problems we had last year. Ali Marpet left, and him and Donovan Smith, they were best friends. They hung out all the time, did a podcast together, all that good stuff. And then Ali Marpet quit. And Donovan was kind of left on an island. And then Luke Goedeke came in, and Donovan kind of had to work with him, didn't know the guy, and they had to try and figure each other out. And it just didn't work good. And then Goedeke got out, and Nick Leverett came in, and they worked a lot better together. But you have to have the offensive line has to have very cohesive. These guys have got to be they've got to know each other inside and out. Now, another thing is that they are hanging out with Kyle Trask and Baker Mayfield. That's cool too. You kind of want those guys to get a good feel for each other. But one thing he did talk about is their new running system. Dan Canales has said, we did this in the last press conference with Harold Goodwin, that they're going to run a mid-zone game, and I did a lot of tape watching on the Rams and the Seahawks and the Chargers. And it's a totally different attack in the run game than what we did with Byron Leftwich and BA. If you watch my all 22 videos, one thing I couldn't stand is all the movement we had on the offensive line, all these pulls and traps, and we just couldn't run straight ahead. Let the offensive guys muscle their way in. It had to be all tricky. And again, one of my philosophies is the more complicated something is, the easier it is to break. And I feel like with our offensive line, with all that movement we had, it just didn't work. I think this will be a better way to go about things, because we're going to, our guys are just going to block. They block the guy in front of you, basically. You're going to have assignments and all that good stuff, but you're not going to be pulling and moving, trying to get a guy 6 yards away down the backside of the line, or having the center come out and having to run 20 yards down the field to try to block cornerback and everything. So I think this is probably going to be better for the offensive line, and it's going to give our run game a much better chance of working.
How does the scheme of the offensive line change now that we don't have Brady behind center?
I think that, Dave brings obviously a different system in that we have, Kyle can do for sure. Baker can do it for sure. I just think it's a different system in the sense that, we'll figure out what those guys can do. Obviously, Tom was the greatest of all time, and all that stuff. But there were things that, hey, at his age and his point of his career, that he was limited of doing as well, and I think that our guys with Trask and Baker being younger and that, they add a little bit of different, where you can do some different things a little bit, that we might not have done with Tom, so I think there'll be some good new stuff. There'll be a lot of stuff that might look similar. So, for the most part, everybody runs the same plays. It's just what you put together and what you think you guys can do and do successfully.
I have watched some Baker Mayfield All 22, and surprisingly, there's not a lot of All 22 film out there or breakdowns on him. It's very strange. I I've found a couple, but not many. But one of the things that I've noticed with Baker Mayfield is he has a tendency to just throw the ball up when he gets pressured. It's going to be vital. Honestly, I think Baker Mayfield's going to be our starter. It just makes sense. But you've got to protect him. If you give Baker Mayfield a strong pocket, he can do some damage. But under pressure, he has a habit of just kind of throwing the ball up. That's not going to be too bad because for the first time in his career, he's got Mike Evans, who, that's a guy you can throw the ball up to, and he's going to catch it more times than not. But I think Mayfield will work a lot better if we have a very stable pocket for him. He can run around. I mean, he's athletic and everything, and I'm sure we're going to do some plays, a lot of bootlegs and stuff like that with him. But I'm talking about as far as just pure pocket passing, we need to have this offensive line be able to hold it for 3 seconds. If we could do that, I think Mayfield, might be having a comeback year.
Anything else? Okay, thank you.
Great. Thanks, everybody. Yep. Morning.
So there you got it, straight from the horse's mouth. That's our offensive line coach, and it does appear that so far we've got our set 5 starting. Luke Goedeke, right tackle. Cody Mauch, right guard. Brian Jensen, center. Feeler, left guard. And then Tristan Wirfs at left tackle. I doubt if that's going to stay the same. Never know. It sounds like a pretty decent lineup to me. I'm not sure about Goedeke at the age, but we'll see. Anyhow, guys, if you like this stuff, don't forget to subscribe. Which one? Subscribe. Hit that like button too. And check out some more videos. Till next time, go Bucks.